The non-aligned movement represents the interests, the political interests primarily, of the least developed, industrializing, developing countries. I think that plays that's a very important aspect to its identity, that it's outside of the more powerful, richest countries. It has a historical legacy and I think a sentimental value, but I think it's important, it's very pragmatic at this stage. What I've understood from listening to policymakers and academics in Africa is that the non-aligned movement is important in a time where the world is becoming more and more divided between those countries that have been very heavily impacted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and countries that wish to sort of stand outside of that conflict and the arena around that conflict. And so I think it provides an opportunity for Asian, African, Latin American countries to come together, to have dialogue, to build some form of new non-alignment. We've heard about multilateralism as an important end goal, a better, stronger multilateralism. I think it's really difficult to understand how salient such political ideas are unless you come to Africa and you're in Africa and you hear African civil society, academics, students, people involved in the private sector, politicians and diplomats really talking about these issues, and also to get a sense of the debate, there's not one single kind of monolithic perspective on the non-aligned movement. I think it was really interesting to think about and to hear the discussion around what Uganda's ambitions are for the non-aligned movement, for its chairmanship. I didn't know that Uganda is, it's a rare opportunity that Uganda, the same country, is chairing the G77 as well as the non-aligned movement, that Uganda wishes to make this a disciplined chairmanship, meaning there won't be new institutions, but rather, I think, a focus on building some sort of ideational consensus, a political community.
The NAM is relevant. We need it more than before because we need it for dialogue. We need it for dialogue with the West, if you might call it, with developing countries, developing countries of the global south dialoguing with developed countries of the north. It is important now than before because, again, the north-south divide is artificial because there is no dialogue, and we have to have the hard conversations. And NAM can be the facilitator of this discussion. This is very timely because as Uganda takes over the chairmanship of NAM, it gives an opportunity to people like me to have a platform of explaining our vision and also of listening, getting feedback from academics, from other policymakers, from the youth, from civil society. Main takeaway is that I have a lot of work to do as the chair of NAM and G77, but I also learned a lot in terms of the issues that will be challenging and how to deal with them.